Hey, welcome back to Episodes from Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. I got like a little bit of a stuffy nose kind of thing. Allergies.
Oh, yeah?
Allergies is goofing on me. So,
Dude, I was just thinking about how really good I felt today about allergies.
oh shit.
Forgot to take the pill, but still, I was like, oh man, I hope I don't sneeze like that last time. I think it was last time we recorded, I was feeling pretty bad.
Yeah.
This time, I'm feeling fucking frosty, bro.
All right. So we switched. Anyways, this week we're talking about Rilakkuma and Kaoru. It's on Netflix. It's a new show that just came out. It's their first stop motion animation TV show. And it's all super anime. So we decided to review it this week.
Sure did. Yeah, it was something. And we'll talk about that later. But first, Trip, you should talk about something way more important. How you doing, man?
I'm like mad.
What's up, man?
So people don't really know this about me from like how much I talk about it, but I'm a huge Sonic fan. Like fucking huge Sonic fan. If you're listening to the episode, you know exactly where my conversation is going to go right now. That being said, I'm a big fan. I've been a fan since the first Sonic. Loved Sonic 2. Sonic 3 and Knuckles fucking blew me away. Sonic CD, Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic Spinball. There are a couple of Sonic games that were on the Game Gear exclusive that were a lot of fun too. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but I've got them behind you somewhere over there. And then let's see what else. Sonic R, which is Sonic Racing. And I always wanted to play the Sonic fighting game, but I never got to. Really wanted to play that.
There's a Sonic fighting game?
Yeah, man. It's really old school. It's from the Sega CD, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, it's like Sonic Rumble or something. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sorry. And then there's... what else did I get into? I feel like there's another Sonic game that I forgot that was before this. But anyways, I'll go on to Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure DX, which is like a combination with some added stuff or something like that. I don't remember exactly. All of those were fantastic, right? A little bit of a Sonic break there. They didn't do much. Nintendo hadn't kind of like bought out Sega at that point. The Dreamcast went into the sewer. It's donezo. And then a bit later, they were like, all right, we're bringing Sonic back. We kind of have to do this, you guys. So Sonic 06, we're doing it. They brought that back. Everyone hated it. It was terrible. Then they made Sonic and the Black Knight series, the whole like storybook series. They made Sonic and the
werewolf thing.
What the fuck was
Sonic
that
Riders?
Called? They've made other ones too. On GameCube, Sonic Heroes, Sonic Riders. They had Sonic and Mario at the Olympics. You know, like all these little things there.
Does the Shadow game count as a Sonic game?
There's Shadow the Hedgehog, which came out on GameCube as well. There's also like Knuckles Chaotix and whatnot. But I stopped playing games pretty much after Sonic Adventure 2. I didn't touch anything else because they looked like they were going in weird directions, and I wasn't really feeling kind of that style. And then after 06, the storybook series, the Werehog, they finally made it to Sonic Colors. And Sonic Colors was really fucking good. I don't know how it showed up. Oh, also the Sonic Advance games were really good too, because they were in that classic 2D side-scrolling style, and they were really, really fast feeling, the whole deal with Sonic. Anyway, Sonic Colors came out. They finally went back to like a really good mesh of 3D and Sonic feeling. I'm just a huge goddamn fan of Sonic, you know?
Yeah, so what's the issue, man? What's the problem about Sonic right now?
They put out a trailer today.
Yeah?
For the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh, do tell.
And I think it's probably the worst thing I've ever seen. I woke up this morning, saw that there was a Sonic trailer out. I was like, oh, fuck, time to see what they did. They're going to fuck up my boy. I just know it based off of the freaky-ass legs that I see in my movie theater, because we have a weird, like, cutout poster thing, a little stand-up of Sonic's legs in San Francisco and a ring or two. Looks bad. We got to see the trailer, and it is the worst thing I feel like I've ever seen in a like, oh no, this isn't even going to be funny bad. This is just so terrible. I don't know who it's for, because we hit a lot of layers of nostalgia here. So I think it's for the nostalgic people, but it also looks like it has such kiddish humor, but it doesn't look like it's a kid movie. It has very childish, not really trying to make any clever jokes. It's mostly slapstick looking things. I don't know, man. It's the weirdest movie. It opens with Gangsta's Paradise. I had no idea why they would choose that song, doing Coolio like that, but they brought it in there. They tried to give us Sonic, and like, you know, the beginning of it, the best part about this whole trailer is that they showed some rings, made some ring sounds or whatever, and then it went up and around like the Paramount logo instead of having the stars. And I was like, oh, that was a fun little nod to this movie. But if they could have thrown like a Sega in there and been playing some Sonic music instead of the whole like just circling around, it would have been fantastic. Or if Sonic popped up in that little circle, started like waggling his finger like he does in the little emblems. But it didn't do any of that. Instead, it was just like, all right, Sonic's really fast. He's also an alien, and he's going to be best friends with a cop, and then they're going to protect the world from Dr. Robotnik, who doesn't even fucking look like Dr. Robotnik. He's literally just Ace Ventura in black leather. That's all that it fucking is. It was weird.
Yeah, it's legitimately Jim Carrey.
No, it's Ace Ventura. It's like that ridiculousness of like over the top, and not even There's Something About Mary. It's just...
What's funny is that like...
it's bad.
You know, this trailer hasn't, you know, just got dropped, but we knew there's gonna be a Sonic movie for a while, and I just knew it just looked
like it was gonna be
bad, right?
But that being said, Detective Pikachu trailers immediately blew me away, and I thought it was going to be really fucking dumb. I'm like, oh shit, they did such a cool thing. We'll see what they do with Sonic. And Sonic went the wrong direction with everything.
But I just think it's so weird that like it took me to watching the trailer to find out that Jim Carrey's in this, right?
Yeah.
And I was
like, the news came out about that. Well, picture of him as Dr. Robotnik came out yesterday, and people were like, what the fuck? He doesn't even have the mustache. He looks like shit. Fuck this. And then today we got to see in the trailer a little bit at the end where he's wearing his red Dr. Robotnik. It's not even an actual Dr. Robotnik outfit. It's like changed pretty severely, but he's wearing some red or whatever, and he's got a little glove thing, and his mustache is all blown out off to the sides, and it's like it's a little prequel thing for
maybe
the upcoming sequel that they already plan on doing.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a teaser after the credits or during the credits or whatever. Man, it looks so bad.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad. Something else I noticed is that the guy who's the cop in the movie, I see him around in like other movies, and I always think, who the fuck is this guy? He's Cyclops from the first X-Men, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you see, it's so hard to remember who he is. But it's like every time I see him in a movie, I go like, oh, this is bad. Like what they wanted a pretty like a good looking guy, but they couldn't afford like a really good looking guy, so they kind of picked an okay looking guy, you know?
He's started in like a couple of TV shows that I've watched, and he's been like little characters here and there.
I just feel like he's not a very
familiar face, but yeah, he's not something that'll sell a movie.
I don't think he's a very good actor. I don't know, man.
How do you feel about the voice of Sonic?
I can't even remember what it sounded like.
It didn't sound like Sonic. I can tell you that much. Too busy, like he wasn't about to go off and eat a couple chili dogs with tails or anything like that. He had no like attitude. I'm kind of a surfer, bro. Like I don't know what's going on, but I'm about to be fast. He had no attitude like that at all.
I can't even remember what his voice sounded like. All I remember is how awkward he looked. Yeah, I know that we talked about this beforehand about how the movie was going to come out and you were going to watch it. And I mean, because you're a huge Sonic fan. I was like, well, I'm not watching that. After watching the trailer, I'm still for sure not watching it.
I'm definitely not going to watch it anymore. Yeah. I'm just going to look at the ratings because I was like, I mean, I'll see it. A little bit of optimism there because I'm like, whatever. Sonic team has done some pretty cool things recently. They're making a lot better games. They've been making better choices with cartoons, which also brings me to the point of Sonic Boom has a TV series.
Yeah. It's had it for a while now.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of funny jokes. It makes some good meta jokes. It makes some just clever jokes here and there. That's so the parents that are watching with their kids also can enjoy things, right? They always got to sneak those things into cartoons, and that's what you wind up loving as an adult. That's what brings me to the point of this. It had no fun jokes for adults, but it's also not fun for kids because they already have a TV show that they know and like. This is a new, freaky, weird, gross Sonic that's not even close to the same thing that they're currently enjoying. It has no personality. It just felt like it was gross. It's so many bad decisions.
It's a very strange design. And we know what kind of sucks that. I feel like the only thing that I've ever felt like, you know, that it was something super nostalgic to me that was like bastardized, you know, I think has been Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like seeing that live action movie like really like broke my heart. I was like, this is the worst thing that could have possibly happened to one of my favorite things in the world, right?
Tragedy.
So I know how you feel, having like something that's super favorite of yours be just like ruined. And I mean, I kind of felt that way about the Ninja Turtles movie, like because I really liked them.
Yeah, with Nickelodeon being like, look at them, they're freaky, whatever, cool guys, right? Michael Bay.
What's funny is that before the Nickelodeon ones, the live action ones came out, they did a animated one just called TMMT, and I really liked that one. I thought it was really good, but it didn't perform that well in the box office. People didn't really care for it. I was like, huh. So they just did this whole other thing, this live action thing, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. And I wasn't happy about it, but I don't feel as bad as you do. Like they did your boy Sonic dirty.
Yeah, man. When just a little throwback to when they made that Ninja Turtles movie from Nickelodeon. They advertised so heavily for it because it had Michael Bay directing it, and it was just such a weird thing that it even existed at that time. They went really hard on advertising and promoting on all these different like YouTube channels the video game. More than anything, it was just like, oh, check it out, it's a super fun new beat 'em up, and it comes out like right now at the same time as the movie. Go see the movie, play the video game.
Yeah,
it was really weird. It was one of the most heavily advertised that I've seen movie video game combos in the last like 6 years or whatever.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry this happened to you.
It's whack. So anyways, I'm a little bit frustrated. I'm angry or whatever I said earlier when I was lying just because I wanted to talk about Sonic. I'm doing really good actually.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
I've been having a good life. How have you been? What's new?
I'm good, man. My sister's been gone for a week. She's been in Mexico with my nephew and my brother-in-law, and I was in charge of taking care of the dogs.
Yeah, you were.
Which was fine. I would go feed them, let them out, twice a day.
Hell yeah.
The worst part was, I think they have where they live is really like, there's a lot of trees and a lot of different kinds of trees. So every time I'd go, I'd just be covered in different types of pollen, and I was just sneezing my fucking, anyways, miserable. That sucked.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst part of my week. Other parts of my week that are pretty cool is I got to see Endgame.
Nice. I know you watched that too, right? It was a lot of fun. It was satisfying moments. Yeah, that's all we'll say.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think after 11 years of like following this like franchise,
21 movies.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? This is good. I'm glad the way it ended for me. I'm like, cool. I feel like I've done my part. If there, what I'm saying, like, if there is like a,
I'm doing my part. You're just like fucking watching a movie.
I'm doing my part, dog. What I'm saying is like, if there is like, say, another like phase after this, because they're obviously going to make more, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
they've already announced a couple.
I'm saying like, cool. I don't feel like I have to watch all of them anymore because I'm kind of happy with the way things are. I mean, obviously, I'll watch the Spider-Man ones because I like Spider-Man a lot.
Yeah.
But if they're like, hey man, it's fucking Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Hulk, and I'm like, okay, it's cool. I don't think I'll watch that one just because I'm pretty cool off of it. But I really, I think the movie was good. I enjoyed it. It was really long.
They have already announced. They announced it a little bit ago. Guardians 3, and I'm super fucking jacked about that movie.
I'll watch that. I think.
I'm like way fucking into that.
I know that. Like my movie experience. I think I'm just a crotchety old man. I'm sick of going to the movies because people piss me the fuck off.
Oh yeah, no, I had a pretty negative time too. I understand.
I had a really annoying girl that was behind me, and like she would laugh really obnoxiously loud. And it's fine if you have like an annoying laugh. It's hard to blame you, right? But she would laugh at things that were barely funny. It's just like that was kind of maybe a joke or like a funny line, and then she would just bust out like, "Ooh, shut the fuck up!" Right?
Yeah, I feel like there are times when people just they have like that trigger of a joke has been made. I have to laugh.
Yeah,
exactly. It never feels genuine. It's just kind of like, oh, little joke.
Like they activate it, and then she also cried every moment that there was something that was sad. And then,
man, to be fair, Sierra told me about the moments. One of them was totally legit. I understand.
No, I have no problem with people crying. Like because a lot of people are crying, right? But she was crying at every moment, every hint of something being kind of sad.
Man, I'm just saying there was definitely a moment where I'm like, I get that.
No, I get it too.
Yeah,
There was a lot of people crying, but I'm saying like she cried all the time, she laughed all the time, and the thing that pissed me off the most is that whenever something would happen on screen and she wasn't like aware of what was going on, she say someone would come into frame and they were wearing some sort of different outfit or something. It's just an example.
Who's that?
She would just go, "What's going on?"
Really?
And she would say that out loud when everything's dead quiet. And in my head, I was like, bitch, if you would shut the fuck up, listen for 2 minutes, maybe you'll find out what's going on. And guess what? We kind of did. We would find out what's going on. So she was frustrating. And it lasted for 3 hours. And I think I don't know, man. I'm not as patient anymore with other people.
So there was, I forgot about it. I had one that was very similar. A lot of moments when characters were popping up and everything. It was like one of those, ooh, woo, and clapping and cheering and whatnot.
Yeah, claps.
And it was like this chick right behind me specifically cheering about like weird stuff where it's like, really, man, right now? Okay, whatever. I just missed that line, but that's fine. You could scream into my ear. She was fucking so shrill. Anyways, if you haven't seen any of the Endgame trailers and you're trying to stay away from that, I guess don't listen to what I'm about to say right now.
Spoilers alert, guys. Spoilers.
So at the very beginning of the movie, when it's showing us Hawkeye during the snap and his whole situation, it was shown in the trailers what happens. We don't see specifically who, but we definitely see that people in his family have been snapped, right? And people were fucking shocked in the movie theater. They were gasping and everything. And I'm like, well, okay, even if you didn't see the trailer, what did you fucking expect? It was so confusing to me. I'm like, seriously, man? We were either going to see him or his family disappear, not just like, and everything's good.
Yeah, that would make for a very good movie, right, boys?
Yeah.
I agree, man.
It was really weird. So that set the tone, and then she didn't do anything bad until the last hour of the movie, which, of course, is the hour that people wanted to be.
Yeah. I still enjoyed it. I think it was a good time.
Lots of fun interactions, lots of good jokes. It was a good movie.
I think I want to watch it again, but I don't know if I'm going to watch it in theaters again just because 3 hours is a long time to sit. And I want
to watch it in person. Or at home. Person. I don't want to watch it proxy, you know?
I stood up after the movies and like my legs felt really weird. I was like, damn, this is not healthy. You know?
No, I moved my leg. I always move my legs around. I'm a leg bouncer kind of guy. And like I'll definitely cross my legs different ways all the time. That's why I don't know if people can hear it or not. I'm going to assume people can. I adjust myself in my chair and it's like an old ass rickety ass chair. Yeah. It's like 15 years old. And I'm constantly adjusting. So I fortunately don't have that.
What else happened, man? Okay. At school on Monday, EA came to talk to us.
Oh, shit.
It was super fun. Yeah, all classes were canceled. And then they came in, like, they gave, like, a lecture. It was more like a Q&A. Like, actually, I don't know if it's Q&A. It's more like there was a person that was, like, leading the questions. What's that called? Like, he was...
Yeah, no, there's a name. It's not host, but whatever it is.
He was asking questions, they were answering, but it was like
a dork.
It wasn't a Q&A because like we weren't raising hands and asking stuff, but like he had like a list of things to ask all of them, and there was like they were all from the Sims franchise. They're all working on Sims 3, and they've all worked on Sims 3 and working on Sims 4. There was an animator, an art director, a programmer, a game designer, and a producer. And he went like. I was really worried because the guy who was like hosting it, I was like, I don't know how he's going to handle this. You know, he's not very articulate, you know. He did a great job. And the people up there were super cool and super like helpful and like very like willing to give us like their advice and their opinions of what it's like to work in the industry.
Yeah.
Well, you got something for me?
No.
Okay. And so, I mean, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And then at the end, they like, we had to sign up for this thing through our major or whatever. So we were given like a number. And there was like a raffle because like apparently EA brought a bunch of swag, and so it's like, hey man, in the back table like there's just shit you can grab, and I won and I got a t-shirt. It's pretty cool.
Oh, nice, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
what shirt? What did it say?
It's just an EA shirt.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like Sims oriented or EA or whatever.
But I just picked this. I mean, I picked the shirt because it was like cool. I mean, I wanted a different color, but I was like, oh, this one's my size. I'll just grab this one. Like I'm not gonna be like a, well, I have to get the red shirt because it's my favorite color kind of guy, you know.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, which was really cool, is that they broke us up. All the senior level kids who were like who were attending the thing got invited to go meet the specific person of their discipline and like talk to them about stuff or ask them questions or have them review their demo reel or portfolio and stuff. And so I got to talk to the animator, and he's like the animation director for Sims 4, and he was like, hey man, here's my work, and he just fucking demolished me, which was great because he was like, everything he said was like super like insightful and super helpful to like help improve, you know. Yeah. And then like there's other people who like I looked at other people like when they were getting reviewed, you just kind of listen in because like any knowledge that he could pass on to them could help you maybe, you know.
Right, it's useful.
There was a few people who got like really like upset, it looks like they were like really like bummed out what they were told, and which is upsetting because they're like, hey man, like they're not being malicious, you know. They're stating their opinion or whatever, and they're just trying to help you, and maybe you just shouldn't take it super personal. But yeah, it was a good time. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know. I'm just thankful that they were able to come and to our school and talk to us about stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, super. I don't know. I feel like it's always a surprise. You never know what kind of a person from the industry is going to be able to come in and help you out at a college class. But from The Sims, I think that that's a pretty interesting thing because like Sims was huge. And now it's just something that people kind of know about. So it still is huge, but it's not one of those things that's like cutting edge. It's just, you know.
But it's a weird thing because it's like it's something that's still like, even though it's like maybe not like on the forefront of people's minds, it's still something that exists. Something that gets made and there's work involved with it. And it's interesting to see like how they have to, every time they make a new iteration,
they're still trying to make new things. They're supposed to make it feel fresh.
And the weird thing is like they're simulating, right? It's simulation of like a life.
Just life.
So it's like, how many things can you suck out of this? And you're just like, well, you'll fucking play The Sims, I guess. And it was really insightful to see how like the business end of things work. Like, especially from the producer and like the game designer, there's like, yeah, man, like sometimes you got to figure out like, well, obviously we're making pets. Like any new package we make, you got to make the pet package. If you're doing fucking fall, you got to make the fall package for the pets. And he's like, that's what people want, right? And then there's time where it's like, cool, I want to make this other cool thing or whatever. And then they talk about it and that they decide whether it's something that they can spend the money on, the time on. It's like, and it's feasible or whatever. And it's like, it's really interesting to see, like, it's not just like, I want to make this thing in the game and they just make it, you know, it's just like, no,
it becomes a little bit more corporate and they do have to figure out if it's a good decision or not.
Yeah.
What happened with BioWare? Man,
I don't know what that
Anthem just got ruined. They're the really? Anthem people. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so there was a stream, I think it was this week, maybe it was last week, from the developers. They were like showing off new features in the patch or whatever. And they have 3 tiers of like end game difficulty. And they were playing on the lowest one of that. And people were like, why aren't you playing on the highest? And they were making jokes about like, oh man, you don't need to try so hard all the time or whatever. And then they open up a treasure chest. Like I think it's the first one that they opened up, gave them all like the lowest tier of items. And so it just feels incredibly unsatisfying. And people constantly are complaining about that. They're like, the loot issues or whatever. Like there are so many loot issues. And honestly, everything that could go wrong went wrong in this stream. People were calling them out as they're doing it. And the developers were just completely ignoring them. And it was just really bad.
That's a bad look.
So they pretty much said, hey guys, go silent. Like after a couple little things came out, like there was that big expose of here are all the reasons that Anthem went wrong. After that stream, I think it's one of the people on it or one of the people on just the Anthem team essentially came out on Twitter and said, I'm really fucking mad, you guys. And they're like, okay, what's going on, man? And he's explaining just, you know what? We put a lot of effort into this game and so many things just got fucked up. And that stream was terrible. And I was just as upset at you guys or at this situation as you guys were. And I feel like it wasn't handled right. And like essentially just came out and vented onto the internet, just being like, I can't take the pressure anymore. This is fucked up. I fucking hate this. That was crazy.
That's wild. I didn't hear it. I mean, obviously, I don't pay attention to game news all that much, but that's interesting. I do know, you know, you've told me about the issues with the Anthem. There's a point where it's like, hey, man, this game's so buggy, it's great. And then here's just like, hey, man, this game's going to destroy your PlayStation. Don't play it. Like, it very quickly, it changed. Yeah. So it's like, it's really funny.
It's still, I had so much fun playing it. And it just doesn't address any of the issues that are coming up. They keep being like, we're going to work on it, you know? And then they had a roadmap of all the different releases and all the new updates and whatnot. And they weren't following it. And just everything's all fucked with the game. So all the things that you would inherently think, oh yeah, this is going to happen because that's the way that literally every game works. They were like, nah, man, we don't really know how to make a looter shooter or like an online game. So we have a lot of issues. Right now, their newest issue is with matchmaking, which was not a problem until today.
It's pretty important though, yeah?
Yeah, it's very important.
Hey, you want to play someone that's, you know, at a similar rank, you know, around the world? Sorry, we can't do that.
No.
We haven't figured it out yet.
You know, this specifically co-op 4-player game? Nope. Can't do it.
Sorry, we'll wait. We have to wait 40 minutes for another person to drop in.
So weird. So anyways, that kind of blew me away. Just on the topic of games and development and whatnot. Anyways, yeah, to see that they have all of these decisions and it's cool to see the behind the scenes of everything. And then there are other times where it's like, well, guys, what happened?
Yeah.
And like you could see, you know, the whole thing that's with BioWare, it's all written out. Like when the decisions were made to do certain things, they were like, okay, so they want it to be flying. They're like, oh, this flying's pretty cool. I really like that. The flying, work on that. That's awesome. Meanwhile, they were like, we really didn't like the way that the flying felt, and we had a lot more work to do on other stuff. So we decided that we weren't going to polish the flying, and we were just going to keep that. Yeah. And they were like, nope, put everything in the flying. That's all people want to do. And they're like, oh, fuck. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to do that now. And it was like a last minute thing. Flying's one of the best parts. They just kind of fucked up a couple of little bits with it, but it's really fun. And they worked on trying to polish it and make it feel even better after it was released. But that's honestly like the only thing where the executives that were making all the decisions said, oh yeah, we want this. That was like the only thing.
Nice. Well, I mean, we are an anime podcast, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take a turn and be like, hey, man, I usually ask you what you've been watching anime. Let me tell you what I've been watching anime. None. I haven't had time this week. I'm really busy with school.
Wild.
I made the choice to watch Endgame. And then that also means I missed out on Game of Thrones, which I really want to watch.
It's cool.
Yeah. So
people are mad. I don't know.
You don't care.
Fuck it. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I'll watch. I'm hopefully gonna get home and be able to watch this. I'm also behind on Survivor. There's a lot of things I want to do.
Oh shit. Okay.
Time, sleep. Just things won't allow it right now. So hopefully this week I get back to some anime. I really would like to watch some. But if you could tell me what's new in anime, it'd be pretty cool.
I'm instead gonna tell you really quick what I've been playing.
Oh, what you been playing?
Persona 5, which is essentially just watching an anime.
You've been playing that, huh?
So I just bought it because it's $20 and whatever. I need a game to play. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I haven't played it since it first came out because it essentially looked like it was mostly dialogue and text boxes and just getting through all that with like a bunch of anime scenes cut in there. Mm-hmm. And that's essentially what it is for the first 2 hours. You do like a couple of fights and you run around like a tiny bit. But honestly, you don't do much other than go through that. So the beginning's really tough for me because I want to get into the gameplay and get into the meat and potatoes. But from what I understand, that comes after like 5 hours or so. Cool. I don't know. That's just what I heard. We'll find out. But it's like really stylized Pokemon with an anime weaved in there, which is pretty cool. And I think it's cool that they wound up making the show out of it. And they've done Persona movies and shows and whatnot. Just because they have so much content already in the games. So anyways, I'm stoked to get into that, play a little bit more of that. And then anime-wise, I'll tell you what I haven't been watching that I plan on watching. I haven't seen the new Attack on Titan.
Me either.
I know a spoiler about it.
Let's hear it.
So I'm not... No. But I think it has to do with the basement still.
Okay, cool.
Pretty sure I know what's in there. And if not, I don't know where this thing that happens would take place.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Is it a Crunchyroll or Hulu?
Crunching.
Okay, cool.
We crunching it, boys. So I'm really excited about that. I heard that the latest episode just blew people away. Also, I've heard that people are complaining about the intro, so I'm excited to listen to it because, I mean, people always got to bitch about stuff, and the intro is a great thing to bitch about. They think that there's nothing that's very, like people don't know it. It's not catchy? Nothing kind of usually there's a good like 5 there's like a 5-second part, whether that or the beginning of Attack on Titan. There's nothing, like, it doesn't need to be words, it needs to be just something.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyways,
really,
people feel like that, and then I see another argument of like, bullshit, like, you don't know it now, but in 3 episodes you're going to be saying this part.
That's kind of how I felt about the My Hero Academia intros. I'm like,
oh yeah,
when they changed it, I was like, this is fucking bullshit. The last intro was way better. I don't give a shit,
and then suddenly you're like, yeah, and then you into it again.
It's very true. Yeah, but you're right. People just like to bitch about things.
Yeah, but they love the episode. That was the one thing that they wanted to bitch about, so I'm cool with that. Whatever. Yeah. Excited to see it. Haven't watched the new episode of Sarazan Mai, but I thought that this was fucking hilarious. I don't know if I put it in my news or not, but the director of it, when he was pitching the idea and got it all approved, he didn't mention butts once. Not a single time. That wasn't until the project was already go.
How deceitful is that, though? Like, honestly,
hey, it worked out. Holy shit!
When your show, like,
it revolves around
ass eating. And you pitch no ass eating, the balls on that kid, the balls on that guy to be like, nah, fuck it, that's gonna be a little secret. Imagine the fucking studio directors like sit there to watch the show and they're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, there's a lot of ass, we're in trouble.
And they're just like, what is this? And you go like, sorry man, we're already 6 episodes deep, you gotta finish it. What a fucking genius.
I got such a kick out of that news. Really I'm like, hey, I'm glad that this all worked out and they made a pretty cohesive, good anime.
I mean, I guess if you're pitching something, you know, it's original, right? There's you know, and it's like, yeah, they transform. You could just leave that piece of information out. Like, how do they transform? Oh, they're fucking ass ate, you know, like, you know,
right.
So, I mean, technically, I guess he didn't do anything wrong. He just must have been like, yeah, they transform into fucking, what are they? Kappas, you know? It's like, oh, cool. That sounds like a good movie, the good show. Let's ship it, you know?
And they're like, and Kappas are really obsessed with butt stuff, so that's what we're going to do.
Did you say something? Did you say something? No, I'm just talking. Just a little off. That's really good.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny. Anyways, haven't watched the new episode of that. And then the last thing that I haven't watched that I want to watch is the new episode of Bungo Stray Dogs.
Okay.
I watched a shitload of old ones with Kyle. So now we're on season 2. We just finished the beginning of season 2. So we're about to get into the main story arc. So I'm excited about that. And then Shield Hero, Rising the Shield Hero. The newest episode was kind of a surprise, but not really, but it kind of was. And I like some of the themes that they're going with. Essentially, we don't know what's going to happen, but there's that like dark crystallized whatever it was, the like cursed piece that he put in his shield, and that's how he could go into rage mode and whatnot. And it also affects Philo, and she's got that in her stomach, I think, too. Yeah. And then they're going up against a big bad enemy that has that thing, and he wants to put it in his shield, but another character is telling him, like, no, man, don't do that. If you do that, you're going to be overwhelmed by evil. Like, doing that shit comes at a great cost. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I know, but what if I fucking need it? And then it winds up being like, fine, do it, but like, you really shouldn't do it.
Very SpongeBob. I need it. You know.
Yeah, it was a little bit of that, but a little bit less like, what if I need it? Like, what if it's a last resort? What if I'm going to die? Like, I will do what it takes.
I guess it makes sense. He's just like, he's not very strong, so any chance to get stronger, right? Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool.
So anyways, I liked the idea that they were really driving home, like, shit's gonna get fucked up, dude. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. So I'm excited to see shit get fucked up in the future, because there's no way that they're not just gonna say that without and then have it not happen. Yeah, exactly.
Then like at the very end of the show's like, hey man, you're right. That didn't affect you at all. I'm glad we beat the bad guy.
We really worked this one out, guys.
Have fun back in your fucking alternate Tokyo. Bye. You know, or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else am I watching? One Punch Man. The latest episodes were great. I didn't watch the 3rd episode last week. So now I'm caught up with that. And the 4th episode just aired today, I think. And it was very funny. I had a fun ass time with it. 4th episode, I think, had the most jokes. It had the humor that they really nailed on the head. There were a couple things that are like, well, why would that happen? Whatever. I guess that's how the story was written. So that's fine. But overall, it's fun. I'm having a fun ass time with it. The first 2 episodes were a little bit rough, but I feel like it's just getting better and better in terms of the story and comedy and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see what else is to come from that. And then Dororo. Okay. Demon Slayer I was going to get to last. Mm-hmm. Dororo had kind of like a 2 or 3 part episode. I don't remember exactly. And this was the conclusion of that. We definitely saw some freaky stuff in this episode. We've got this weird baby spirit person thing that followed them along, and then they split paths and they come back later, and their head explodes into a bunch of young child ghosts that go and take care of stuff.
Nice.
And then Dororo thanks the baby, and they kind of like part ways, I think. And then we have Hyakumaru, whose back, his spine gets replaced from killing a demon. Ooh. So his spine, turns out that it was like a bunch of little sewing roll things. What the fuck are they called?
Like
spindle type things. Anyways,
I know what you're talking about. The stuff that is wrapped.
Yarn's wrapped around it. Not yarn, thread, whatever. Yeah. Anyways, it was like a bunch of those connected by one piece of string, and it was super weird. But yeah, there was a lot of screaming there. They did a freaky job making me go like, oh, yeah. So that was always fun. And then Demon Slayer. Fuck, dude. This last episode had such clean animation. We're getting to see some of the stuff from the intro. I think it's in the intro of the water attacks that our main character does.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're getting to see that, and the animation is just so clean. The story was pretty touching at the beginning. They definitely built a lot of character within a few episodes, and it's really cool to see something like that, especially something that I'm not familiar with. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but that's probably the best show of the season that I've been watching.
Over ass-eating kappas?
Yeah, man.
Oh.
I'm really liking it. The first episode was okay. The second episode was a lot better. The third episode was fantastic. And the fourth episode is just rocking. Like,
nice.
It's going up in quality each episode, I feel. Some freaky demon stuff going on too. There's a demon that just has like tons of arms, and it definitely felt like it should be in like a Dark Souls type game, because we've got enemies that are like a shit ton of legs in Dark Souls. We don't have something that's a shit ton of arms. So yeah, it was cool. It was freaky. It was rad. I'm way into it. And then that's all the anime that I've been watching, I think.
Good.
Oh, K-On! Watching K-On! Here and there.
Just for funsies, though?
It's just a charming little time. Yeah, I like it. It's good.
It's still Tamaka Market, but yeah, I get it.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not. It's different.
Yeah, it's different. Cool, man. You got any news?
Yeah, I got news. What do you want to know about?
Preferably anime or manga stuff.
Okay, well,
stuff in live action.
Let me try this one out. So there was a Japanese animator that came out and said, foreigners, do not pursue a career into the anime industry. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
So like, it's just cool seeing that there are people that are willing to speak out. I feel like it's something that's not really spoken about how shitty the anime industry is. Like, we all know it. I don't know if that's just because we're overseas and we like see that news every once in a while, but we all know it happens sometimes in different places and different positions, that there are these places that you should never work. And then the anime industry, they don't really talk about it too often.
It's very hush-hush.
We know that there's a lot of work that goes into it, but we never hear about how unrewarding it is and how like you don't get paid anything. Yeah, you just hear like it's a lot of fucking work.
Well, culturally, Japanese people, like, they work really hard, I think I saw like a photo. It wasn't a photo shoot. It was it's called like a photographer's, like, he was like a piece that he was doing, and he was taking pictures of people who had like 80-hour work weeks, like on the streets. Like, they were like coming home and take pictures of them, and they looked like fucking beat. Just beat, yeah. I was like, oh, that's looks miserable, Terrible. And it's really sucky because, like, obviously we want anime and good anime and stuff, and at what cost? That's kind of the issue. And this is really cool for someone openly to say, hey guys, this is something you don't want to pursue. And I know there are some foreigners who do pursue it. But I feel like
not many people
and
it's not, I don't think that they're necessarily telling like, hey, Americans, like,
it's like, I'm sort of like Koreans, Chinese people. Yeah.
Because they're starting to make those connections and come together and work on things together. And there's like, hey, it's not worth it. Don't fucking do this. It's not worth it.
That's a bummer.
Really interesting,
but it's cool that people are speaking up. Maybe they'll unionize someday, which would hopefully help them out a lot,
Yeah. I mean, one thing, like, it sucks because I know how expensive anime is and how it's kind of pointless to just get something if you could stream it. But that's why I always buy these anime DVDs of movies and shows that I like a lot. I just like supporting the industry for what it is. And I do stream constantly. I have too many different platforms now, which I know not all the money is going to those different anime studios and the different shows and teams that worked behind them. But I mean, hey man, at least it's a little bit, it's something that I'm able to afford to do now. So that's what I do for it. That being said, I can't imagine, as much as I love anime, I can't imagine how long this would go on now that people are starting to kind of speak out about it a little bit more and there are more things that are happening. I just hope that they start making adequate money, or we kind of like get more numbers that tell us how much each person's making, how much they're working, and like what they wish that they could do.
I feel like, if we could like make sure people are working an appropriate amount, getting paid the right amount, and being rested the right amount, if the cost, like if the overall outcome was we had less anime, but as long as it was good, I'd be totally cool with it, right?
Oh, yeah, because I don't need all these 30 shows when I'm watching 7.
Yeah, right? Like, it's unreasonable, but like, yeah. So, we have no say in it. We can only listen to it, talk about it whenever we get a chance, and hopefully that gets resolved someday, because it's kind of sad.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
So hopefully that moves past. Hey, in better news for all us anime fans, NBCUniversal Entertainment Japan has released hundreds of anime songs worldwide on Spotify. So if you've been looking for your tastiest anime jams, check it again. Check out Spotify. See if they got them jams.
Nice.
It's always fun. I don't know. I like listening to music, and then every once in a while, because I'm listening to a bunch of Japanese ass rock and whatnot, it'll pop on some anime theme, and I'm like, this is familiar. I don't know why. Oh yeah, that's right. It was the My Hero Academia intro. That makes sense. Stuff like that.
Oh, it's Country Road.
It's definitely Country Road. And then everyone happens to remember Laid Back Camp. It was the coziest time that inspired a bunch of people to go and check out the different mountains and campsites and whatnot in Japan. So they're going to get a special, like a short, and it's coming out in January 2020. It's going to be called Hey Ya Camp.
Nice. Like
so
Outcast.
I don't know. It's like Outcast.
Andre 3000 and fucking Big Boy are going to be there.
Exactly.
That's cool. I mean, I know that show wasn't for me, but it looked really pretty. And, I always vividly remember the first episode where, like, she comes across that dumb chick that's just sleeping on the bench, and then she feeds her curry ramen or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's really nice. What a fucking nice time.
It has one of my favorite clips where she's driving, and then there's a little dog in the back of a car, and she's like staring at the dog, and it turns away, and she's like, there the dog goes. And then she pulls up behind another van, and like 4 dogs pop up from underneath the window, and she gets really excited again. That's always super cute. I love when people post that clip. It's amazing. So yeah, clean ass, super cutesy, wholesome. Yeah, it's good stuff. So watch that if you're in the mood for something like that. If you're not, fuck you. I'm not either. Yeah, whatever. Hey, something else I'm not into, but you guys are, because you guys love anime, and I'm just a fucking shitty piece of shit who hates everything good. The Konosuba Movie release date has been announced as August 30th, 2019.
Woo, Konosuba.
Hell yeah.
Everyone's favorite anime.
I've tried going into it with different mindsets. I've tried watching it a few times.
Have you tried watching it drunk?
No. But I'm not going to.
Have you ever tried to watch it exhausted, on uppers, on downers, dog? Come on, are you really trying?
Have you ever woken up at 3:32 in the morning and tried watching the Konosuba first episode? Because you'll be hooked. Yeah, it's not for me, but hey, man, this might mean that there's a 3rd season if it does well. So people are super, super hyped about all that.
And we're hyped for you guys. Congratulations.
Hell yeah. That's all the news that I have for this week. Thanks for listening, you guys. I've been Chris. What if we just ended it at the news every week?
Well, no, we have to talk about this week's theme.
But like, what if we just caught up and then talked about news, end of the episode, another episode comes out, we bring back the 0.5s, and then we just talk about the show.
That sounds like extra work.
It's like a lot for me, but it's like not that much for you.
Yeah, well, I still don't want to do it.
This week, we're talking about Rilakkuma and Kaoru. It's on Netflix. It's their first stop-motion animation TV show or movie, I think. It's first Netflix stop-motion thing.
Okay, cool.
And this is essentially an anime. The reason that we're reviewing it is because of that.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't look like a traditional anime, but for sure it's an anime.
Oh, it is an anime. So this show doesn't have like a very good descriptor, I would say.
Yeah, let's read it.
Oh, I don't have it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna read it. I was like, cool.
No, I just like, I don't think that there's a good way to describe it.
I thought you meant like this Netflix description was just like, there's a bear and there's a lady. What's gonna happen?
No, I don't. Does Netflix have a description?
Yeah, they have descriptions for everything.
Huh. I mean, I'm sure that they do. But anyways, we're watching a slice of life show. No episode is longer than 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. I might have just lied to you. I think it could be 18 minutes.
No, it's 15.
Okay, cool. And each episode tackles a very small story arc, and then it leads into another one. And it's a very slice of life show with a chick who happens to live with a bird that's hers and a couple of bears that just showed up. Yeah,
I mean, it's not clearly stated, like,
not at the beginning,
and at first I thought maybe like it's just a world where people have bears,
It was hard to tell, and then you quickly learn.
Oh yeah, okay. No, she just has 2 bears.
She's got bears,
and they're like really like cutesy looking. They don't look like real bears,
but they're giant.
Yeah, and they're also what's the word? kind of like pets essentially, you know, because at first I was like, oh, she's treating them kind of like they're dogs, you know, like wake up, fucking, here's your food, dog. I'm out of here. Don't burn the house down. Except she prompts them to make pancakes. This show's weird, dog. There's some weird logistics in this show. I really thought I was watching a kid show at first, just because of the way it looked.
So I'm going to talk about video games again, because that's the kind of person
that's the only thing you know how to do, yeah. Because it's the only thing he's comfortable talking about. We should have started a video game podcast, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, whatever. Tune in next week. We'll see what the fuck happens. So anyway, Yoshi's Crafted World came out. And since that's the most recent kind of like crafty looking thing that I've seen, this reminded me a lot of that. Like it has that same polish to it, and it feels like everything is just so perfected, and it's exactly the way that they want it to look. But it also kind of looks like a diorama in some way. They put a lot of detail into a lot of different things. But like, for example, they have a phone that looked like it was made out of styrofoam. It's just like, it had a little circle where the button would be and a little outline of the screen, but there was nothing there. And I don't know, man, there were little things that were definitely like, oh yeah, that's right. This is just a stop motion thing. They're all very small.
Yeah. But some things look really nice too, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So it was a weird juxtaposition of this is diorama, this is crafted, and this is really well done, and I'm pretty immersed.
At one point, because I'm a huge fan of stop motion, and we get to see like behind the scene for like, what's it called? The missing link, right? There's a lot of behind the scenes of like how they animated that, and the two strings, and you know, what's it called? The Isle of Dogs, and we get to see like the how big things are in proportion to what they're animating. There was times where I was watching this, I was like, I wonder how big this specific set is.
I have no idea. Some things look so small.
Yeah, because there's times where like they're showing the whole like apartment. I'm like, that has to be not that big, because like they're pulling out or whatever, right? And then there's parts where like they have a really close up of like the bear around the corner. I think when he's playing tag or he's playing with the kid or whatever, and I go, this looks really big, but like almost too big for the camera to fit here. So I'm just like, and so I'm just really confused as to like the sizing of everything.
No idea.
Yeah, and that was the hardest part. Is like, because I feel like those other movies that I named do a really good job of being like keeping everything very scaled or very similar. Like at no point do I go, that thing is way too big for whatever I'm looking at. Like the phone, like for example, like when they pop the phone, I'm like, that looks really fake, right?
Yeah, like that must be really small if it looks that fake.
Yeah, because like. And if it was bigger, it would have looked more realistic, right? They're not going to make a big dumb phone.
No.
But they make it more look like an actual plastic phone. It's like, it's a tiny thing. It's like, oh, that must not be that big.
Right. And there were a lot of points where they eat a shitload of pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
And they put syrup on the pancakes. And the way that the syrup moves looks like it was like 2 drops. Like tiny. But it was just so hard to tell.
And you and I were talking about how the way it looks is for sure, like, it's interesting. Like, there's things that I like about it. There's things I don't like about it. But one thing I can for sure say, when it comes to the fact that it's stop motion,
they did a really good job for the most part.
Yeah, for what it is, right? Because it's for sure not on the level of these other movies that I've seen.
No,
It's not like that traditional, like, you know, fucking Cubo and the 2 strings. Like, that shit's fucking bulletproof.
That's the cleanest stuff that there's ever been.
But for this, like, yeah, this is really interesting. But there's times where like they'll move their mouths. I'm like, it looks more what was it, like Robot Chicken-esque, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Or they'll walk cycles. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not really believing it. But for what it was, I was like, you know what, this isn't horrible looking. They accomplished a specific style. And I believe it, you know, like, I'm like, cool. I'm not just sitting there being like, that's fake. This is all fake.
No.
Look how fake this is.
Did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
Which leads us into how real the characters felt. So when we first started the show, there's not a whole lot going on. We just kind of see, okay, our character lives with these things. She's going off to work. And then while she's at work, she's making plans with a friend to go and,
it's a cherry blossom event.
Yeah. Like a little cherry blossom picnic thing. So she's making plans with a bunch of friends, but she's talking to one friend in particular. Anyways, she goes and tries to meet up with them. And we've been through a few different settings at this point. Between her office. Her office, her home, in between, the outside of her building, all this stuff. And I'm just thinking, like, this world doesn't feel very alive. It just feels very still and nothing's happening, which that's kind of the way it is, I guess, but it just didn't feel that alive, which was weird for me to kind of think, considering that I'm pretty good at making myself immersed in these claymation type things. I've been around it my whole life. Fucking loved Rudolph and whatnot growing up. Then there's the Flash animations like Knox's Corner and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then we get into the really nice movies that we've been able to see recently, like Missing Link. Anyhow, it felt bland. And then we get to the Cherry Blossom Festival, and there are lots of people around, and there are blossoms in the wind and everything.
Look great.
And I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's where the budget went. Yeah.
This feels more genuine. This feels real. So they did a good job with that, different parts, but it didn't always feel like you were there. It didn't feel that immersive. So having those moments that really take you out was a huge disappointment. And I think that made me like the show a lot less than I normally would.
Yeah, there's just sometimes where there were just moments where the animation, the surroundings, everything got knocked up a bunch. Like, like there's a bunch of dream sequencing stuff or like music stuff or dance stuff. You can see a lot of money was poured into that, right? And then like the in between stuff, like you're like, yeah, I can tell something was pulled back there. Like they said, cool, this works, just push it, you know?
Right.
And I do agree. The Cherry Blossom, when they're on the hill, and like she's waiting for her friends to show up, who by the way never show up because they're fucking dickheads. I was like, wow, this looks really good. Like,
yeah.
And I didn't realize how the world did feel super small. Like she was either at her home and then she would walk to her office and she was just kind of like on a bank or on the road, right? And then she was just kind of there, you know? And there's maybe people who aren't main characters. Maybe there's like one other like random person. Like there's a fishing guy, like a hobo dude kind of. There's the delivery guy. There's her landlord. All the people from the office.
Maybe it was the lack of cars.
Maybe. But besides the scene of her like being on the hill for the Cherry Blossoms Festival, like there wasn't really just like extras or like any like other like people or surroundings to make it feel like this was a giant world. It did feel very condensed, and I feel like they could have done a better job of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. What
All right, so each episode kind of goes around like they're going to go and do this fun thing.
Yeah.
Or they have to fix this quick little problem. So I don't really remember very clearly how each episode leads into another, but I remember something about there was a little boy outside at the beginning of the first episode. And then in the second episode, it picks up that boy actually kidnapped one of the bears and held it hostage for ransom. And the ransom wound up being like 3 pancakes or something. And then at the end of that episode, it leads into the next episode. It just keeps leading in, which I think they did a really good job. So it makes everything kind of flow together, and it's harder to remember what happens specifically. Yeah. And I kind of like that.
It for sure flows together, and you do feel like, oh, these things happen in succession. But because all the stories are kind of self-contained, like whatever the issue is for that episode, and they get resolved most of the time by the end of it. There's never like a cliffhanger or two-parter. So it's like, so cool. You start, at the beginning you start, and then by the time at the year end, you're at a different place in time, right? Like it has moved like in a linear direction, which was nice. I think in the third episode, because you're like, oh, what comes after 2? After 3, I think it's like, her and the boy are now like friends or whatever, and they get visited by some fucking ghost, which was like,
that was the 5th episode.
Oh, was that the 5th episode?
Yeah, so that's why I
missed 3 and 4. Exactly. Then I can't fucking remember.
Can't remember what 3 is. 4 you did watch. It was the fireworks when they went to the little.
That was nice. Yeah,
when they went to the market, the little festival.
Was nice festival because like there was other people. It was propagated. It felt like
we saw them all playing like little festival games.
They were all dancing,
food, takoyaki, and whatnot. Lots of. That felt really lively. It felt cool. We got to see different lighting because it took place like, in the evening at night and whatnot. So we had some cool lighting effects, and they played a little bit with fireworks and watched them and whatnot. It was just like your typical anime firework festival in claymation.
Can I talk about what I didn't like now?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. And we talked about this beforehand, right? The thing I didn't really like, I didn't hate this show by any means, but I didn't like it by any means.
You didn't know who it was for.
I didn't know who it was for was the biggest issue. The biggest issue was like, at first I was like, okay, cool. Because of the art style, it
looks kiddie.
And because of the art style, and because of the fact that we have 2 bears and like in a chicken, I was like, yeah, this feels very juvenile, very childish, very like, it's for your kids. You can put your kids in front of it and they'll enjoy it. But then the themes pop up and
and you're like, these are pretty adult, not like dark, but like
deeper themes.
Like, Yeah.
Like bigger ideas, like the fact that like she's not very happy with who she is.
Nope.
She's, she's sad about not being able to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
She's lonely in the fact that she doesn't have like a husband or a boyfriend or something.
Friends.
Or friends, really.
They're all moving on with their life.
And she feels stuck, Her mom calls her once to just be like, why are you even working? You should just come work on our like cherry thing or whatever, or cherry farm. And
like, here's our sparkling cherry wine.
Yeah. And she's like, Mom, I want to work. She's like, that's a silly thing. Women shouldn't be working in offices or whatever. It's like, again, there's the theme. There's that one episode where there's like a fucking ghost, and she talks about how she died and that she's mad because her boyfriend moved on. And then she's like, oh, cool, people die. Don't worry about it. But if you weren't dead, it's like, so I was super confused as to who this was for, because of the way things looked and the way things sounded didn't really mesh the best with like what the topics were, because a lot of the lessons that she learns are like, they're good lessons, right? Move on, fucking find some self-worth in yourself, don't give up, stuff like that. But sometimes she just doesn't even learn a lesson. Sometimes she's just kind of a Debbie Downer or a dummy. Yeah. It's kind of interesting how
she felt authentic.
But she also felt like I didn't really like her. I was like,
I don't know if she was supposed to be the like most relatable, likable character, but she definitely felt like a real person.
For sure. Yeah.
You could be like, I've had some issues like this, and that's a lesson that some people need to learn. I'm fortunate enough to have never done weird shit like that.
Yeah. Like there's a bit where she's like she's in the bathroom stall. Mm-hmm. And she overhears coworkers talking about her, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah, I for sure felt that before."
Because they needed to invite somebody else to something.
It was like a group date.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Invite so and so." She's like, "Nah, she's dull or whatever."
Yeah,
or she's too serious. They say,
"Yeah, Kaoru." Yeah,
yeah, and then she's like sitting in the bathroom hearing that, and I'm like, "Oh man, I for sure felt like overhearing people talk shit about me. Like that shit hurts, So there's things like I'm like, oh, I can understand that, but for the most part, it's like, yeah, I don't really like her, and I feel like she's not. She's I don't know. I just didn't really care all that much about her.
Yeah. No, she was pretty lackluster. Didn't have a huge personality. It was more so just like, I mean, you got to work and you got to do things and be responsible, and it's time for a festival and people do the festival. It never felt like I like doing this as a hobby. She just mostly hung out with her bear friends.
But it's also super weird because then there's just the bears there, right? And they kind of just do their own thing. And
they clearly have personality too.
Sometimes she kind of bosses them around like she's in charge. Yeah. And sometimes she's just like, you guys are your own independent people. They get jobs in one episode, which is one of my favorite episodes. Yeah. Like she's complaining about, she buys a bunch of stuff online.
So the series of it is, just so you guys can realize like how adult kind of themed this is. She's down on her luck about a bunch of bad things keep happening. Then she goes to a fortune teller that essentially says like, hey man, it's your roommates that are causing the issues. So she gets really mad at them
and kicks them out, right?
Yeah. And kicks them out. And then, they realize, oh shit, actually we're happier together. So then they're all back together. And then she realizes, I don't like the way I look. I've definitely put on weight. I can't put my clothes on that used to fit me. They no longer do. So I'm going to try to lose some weight. And then when she gets her delivery, she finds that she's actually infatuated with the delivery man.
Oh, he's a hot, sweaty boy, and we like him.
So she orders a fuckload of exercise equipment
that she never uses.
Nope, she's just ordering it so that she could see the guy.
And so she spends a bunch of money, essentially becomes in debt, like hugely. And then she kind of like, at one point, like complains to the animals. And she's just like, you know what? Like, we're going to have a lean life because of all the spending I did. And there's not going to be any sweets and some shit. Like, you guys also don't realize like how expensive it is. Like, just take care of you guys, whatever. And it's just like, this is kind of your fault though. Like
it's 100% her fault.
You're the one that owns 2 bears and a chicken or whatever.
Right.
And you're the one that bought all this stupid equipment, and the animals feel kind of bad. And so this is the episode where they go out and like they acquire jobs, and like the little bird likes to clean around the house, which he was my favorite character. I thought he was super cute. And so he gets a job cleaning like with the cleaning crew, like in an office or something. And they're like, hey man, you're really good at this. Thank you. We couldn't do this job without you. So that's his job. The smaller bear, like the white bear, goes to a cat cafe, and he just becomes like something people can play with.
Yeah.
And then the big dumb bear or whatever, he does a few things, but he gets fired from all of them. Like he eats the food he's making.
Whatever.
He's bad at construction. He's just in the way or whatever. And so his solution is he gets home and like he sits in a pot and he's just like eat me or whatever. He's just like, I'm
useless.
He's like, make bear stew. I couldn't bring any money home. Only to have her be like, you guys got jobs. That's super cool. Looks at how much money they made. But she goes like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm getting my Christmas bonus or whatever. And, things are going to be okay. Everything that was like bad is kind of turning around. She's like, it's fine. I don't need your fucking money. And it's like, dude, what a fucking bitch. They work hard. And now he's like, fuck you. We don't need your money.
So one of my favorite things that happened was in the next episode, it starts snowing. So they build like snowmen and stuff. And then the big brown bear becomes friends with the snowman and he loves them. And then they die.
They melt. Yeah. And he starts crying.
Whenever they cry, it's adorable and sad. But man, I fucking couldn't handle that. I'm sitting there. I'm like, that's really fucking sad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what?
There's a bit also where she overhears that one of her coworker went to Hawaii and got engaged, and so she's feeling kind of down on herself, right? And she's complaining to the other bears, and she's like, you know what? Like, if I went, she kind of openly says like, if I went to Hawaii or like with like, I would like to go with my boyfriend or my husband, I wouldn't go with you guys because that just seems like a weird thing. And the bear's like, okay, and they cheer her up. They dress up and they set up like a Hawaiian theme. Yeah. And so when she shows up from work, he starts playing for them and she's like, oh, that's really sweet. She records it, uploads it, and they become like YouTube famous or whatever. And then the little boy becomes their manager and they say, hey, we were invited to go to fucking Hawaii to perform. And she's like, awesome, we're all going. And they're just like, nah, you said you wanted to go with your husband or future boyfriend or whatever, so you can't come. And so in spite her, they go to fucking Hawaii, they perform, and she's just like bitter the whole time. It's like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be a bitch. You know, like that's what you fucking get.
True. Real talk.
I thought it was so funny.
And then after that, she doesn't really have a focus in this next episode. It's the UFO episode.
Oh, God.
Which was really weird. The white bear thinks it sees something in the sky, sets up this whole like pentagram ass, gonna find this alien shit. Anyways, the alien comes down, abducts our white bear. They're totally chill about it, become friends, exchange a button for like an emblem. So now the white bear has this like crystal emblem and the alien gets a little button.
Yeah, the way you do, right?
Yeah, totally fine. What animals were there? There were animals that were like hanging out in the UFO. It's like something like cows would make the most sense, but I don't know if it was. Anyways, it was giant pandas. Yeah. So like the panda cradles the bear for a minute and it's pretty adorable. And then she goes back to home and essentially goes like, yep, I was gone,
no big deal,
peace.
I'll go for it.
Yeah, no, the next episode though definitely changes pace and it becomes the darkest episode of the show, which was really weird.
Which one was this?
So it starts out and Kaoru goes to her friend's wedding.
Yeah.
And she's remembering like, oh man, it's so sad to lose you, but I'm also so happy that you're entering like your new life. And I'm like, okay, wait, lose you? They're still gonna be friends.
They're gonna murder her, obviously.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. I don't know if it's a Japanese thing. It's like as soon as you get married, you stop hanging out with your friends.
What's
gonna
happen to you and me, obviously?
Well, yeah, the podcast is ending.
It's
as soon
over.
As you get married.
After the wedding,
that's what we've talked about for years since starting the podcast.
We keep saying it on the pod.
It's gonna be weird just doing the podcast individually and not with each other anymore.
I only started the pod to get married, and now that I'm getting married, what's the point?
That's the way it
goes,
goes,
funny
man.
Would it be if you would just set up the mics every week and you just hit play and you go, yeah, so this is the news, and you just kind of wait and you go, that's interesting. Yeah, you got a good point. And then you just keep doing the show. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be sad.
Anyways.
Sure. Anyways, so she's reflecting, and then it goes back to when she first became an individual woman out in the working field and everything. And same thing that happened earlier in the show. All of her friends are out doing some good shit, and she's kind of just doing nothing. And she's thinking about getting a cat. She saw a couple of strays, and then her work friend had her parents picked up a stray cat, and they were trying to give it a home somewhere. She's like, maybe I should do that. And then her coworker's like, no, you don't want to do that, because any single lady that gets a cat isn't gonna find a guy. They're not getting married.
It's the truth.
All right, cool. So we're going for crazy cat lady stuff, whatever the fuck. And then she decides, I'm not going to get a cat. But as she's walking home, she walks by a pet store and sees some cats, and they're pretty cute. And she's like, oh, fuck. You cost $1,500? Man, why are you so expensive? And there's just a cat that I could pick up on the street, and it's probably just as good as you, but I don't really know. And that one's free. Are you better? what would I be worth if somebody were to buy me?
Oh my God.
I'm just useless. I'm a piece of trash just kind of drifting along. And it shows her like sinking into the water. It does like some, what's it called? Some March comes in like a lion shit, right?
Yeah.
Where just super depressed, being overwhelmed by water, sinking and drowning. And she's like, oh, well, it just kind of goes. And you're like, whoa, what?
You know what's also pretty funny is that it's never really ever stated as to like what her job is. She just kind of goes to an office.
She's a businesser.
Yeah, and at one point, her boss is like, "Hey, can you address these letters for me?" She's like, I'm kind of busy." She goes like, "But you got the best handwriting in the office." And she's like, "You know what? I do have the best handwriting in the office." I was like, "What do you do? What is your job?"
That is an office thing, though, in case you didn't know.
Really?
If there's something that you have to do and like you have to write it, you have shitty handwriting.
You get the best person to do it.
You get the best person to do it. Like, I'm never the go-to. If somebody needs me to fill something out, I'll for sure do it, whatever. And my handwriting's gotten better because I now don't care about, I just need to get it done. Now I'm like, I get paid for this. So I need to make it look as good as I can, even though I have trash handwriting. But yeah, definitely if it's something more important, if it's like a situation that's been going on for a while and you need to send it to somebody important.
Yeah, make it look nice.
Yeah, you're going to have whoever it is address the letter.
It looked like it was just like a bunch of fucking coupons or some shit like that. It didn't look that important.
Probably was, yeah.
Okay, so the way that this show kind of ends
wrap up?
is she's told that the whole apartment's being evicted, right?
Yep.
Because they're tearing it down to build something else, I think.
Something like that.
And so she's pretty worried, and her and the bears are worried, and like the neighbor boy's kind of worried because like, oh, well, we won't see each other anymore, yada yada yada.
The neighbor boy also expressed, "I'm going away at the end of the summer."
Yeah,
or
he's
whatever
leaving anyways,
it was.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the big issue is like, oh, we're gonna have to find a new place to live, and can they afford it, and what's all this stuff. I think doesn't the show end with like a montage of them like well, first they say goodbye to the boy, like they pack his stuff up and he leaves, and it's like, okay, I'll see you soon or whatever, and then they do a montage like a photo album kind of thing of like all the stuff they've been through, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then they're looking at the apartment, it's empty, and she's like, hey man, like you got to move on sometimes, but it's gonna be okay. And it just kind of cuts to that, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess this is it.
The end. Yeah, no, it was a cute time with some weird, dark, very human moments.
Something else I wanted to point out is it's kind of weird that the bears never speak, right?
Oh yeah, they do a lot of like,
they speak some sort of language that she must understand, because like she'll talk to them and they'll make noise back. She's like, hey, don't you fucking talk back to me, you fucking bear, or whatever.
Yep. Definitely a lot of that.
I didn't think
and also at the like, hey, this is how they first got introduced, and they did that whole flashback of she had the bird, and then one of the bears showed up, and then she's like, oh, hey, who are you? And it's like, and it pops up like, I'm
so and so, and you're just like, oh, I guess she understands bear, right?
Yeah, so weird.
And that's just kind of how it ends. It was, again, it wasn't horrible. I didn't hate my time watching it.
It was fine. It just kind of felt like it was not substantial.
I don't think I'd recommend this to anybody. I don't think I'd be like, hey man, like you have to watch the show. If you watch it and you enjoy it, by all means enjoy it. Like that's on you. It's not for me.
I think it's a check it out. Like, since it is episodic, you could just pick it up and check it out and see what you think of it. You're wasting 13 minutes if you don't like it.
Yeah.
If you do like it, you're not wasting any time.
Yeah,
so 13 minutes, you could eat that.
Super easy to watch. I will say that I had talked to people around my school about it, and they were like, yeah, I saw that pop up on Netflix. I thought it was something interesting. It's like, and they asked me what I thought about it. I was like, yeah, man, it's not for me. It's, again, not the worst thing in the world, but just watch it. It's super short. And if you like it, just keep watching. If you don't, then you can just stop. You're not fucking investing too much time.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, it is fine. Essentially, it was a fine thing to watch. It's no fucking Ico. I'll tell you that right now. Also, I just want to say I really like the intro. Every episode started off with like a Netflix original series or whatever, and then like they would do some like cutesy thing with whatever the character was. Like I was like, oh, that's really nice. Like, it's well done.
Another thing that I'll mention is they have a dude who does the music. Don't know who he is. Don't know anything about that. But his songs sound really good. I'm like into them, It's just kind of like a lazy talking kind of singing.
Yeah.
But I like that a lot.
I thought you were going to like the music. It's something that I noticed for sure. I think sometimes it comes in a little too like loud.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I was like, it's kind of par for the course for like, I guess in my opinion, what would have been like a childish show.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was nice. It was for sure like nothing like.
I don't feel like it added anything to it. I'm just like, I'd probably listen to this.
Also, no intro, no outro, right?
Not really. No,
Right.
It was just a
just kind of starts.
Yeah, the first episode does have the song playing, and then the last episode has a song playing it out.
Yeah.
So they're there, but they also only at the very end.
They also do a thing where like at the beginning they'll like put the title of whatever that's going to be like the theme of the episode.
Yeah.
And at the very end you'll see like some sort of, it's obviously written in Japanese, but like words of like what the moral was essentially, like in like some sort of billboard or like a picture or something that I was like, oh, that's cool. So
it was neat.
If you're really dense and you don't understand what it's about, just stick around. They'll literally tell you what the what the moral of that story was.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't have much more to say about it, but it was fine.
Yeah, me either, man. It is what it is. If you liked it, let us know. Tell us what you enjoyed about it. And if you didn't like it, well then, cool. Don't fucking tell us. We don't care. Like,
I mean, you could tell me, like, why didn't you like it? Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but you know how we feel. We're fine about it.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'll tell you what, it's way better than the fucking trailer to fucking Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, can we just do the outro? I'm mad again. Thanks a lot.
So we don't know what we're doing next week. We'll figure out what the topic is. Anyways, we will be here next week, though. We always are. Whoa. Yeah, if you like our logo, hit up Aaron from TreviTops.com. If you like our theme song, check out Tom Nasser on SoundCloud and YouTube. Trip, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram Podcast. If you want to tweet at us, tweet at Instagram Pod.
Podcast Benefit.
And you could go ahead and shoot us an email, instagrampodcast@gmail.com. Tell me what I should cosplay as for AX.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep. Cool. That's your homework. Fucking tell me. What should I be? Who am I? Who am I, actually?
This is bye from Juan.
See you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Who am I?
Sure.